Frank J. Avella with Awards Daily. I am thrilled to be speaking with Oscar and Emmy nominated star of Ava DuVernay's bold and brilliant new film, Origin. Welcome, Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's a loving, nuanced, difficult, intense, transcendent performance. Congratulations.
God, thank you. I know that's a cliche thing, but that naturally, I naturally hit my heart when you said that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's living and breathing. I feel like it's still with me. Origin is about a Black woman on her own intellectual and arguably spiritual journey. Uh, that's not really typically seen on screen, is it?
No, no. You have we explore the genius of men pretty often. There's a tradition of doing that on screen, but we don't explore or dramatize the genius of women, and particularly the genius of Black women on screen. And I just think that's an exciting prospect. That's what we try to go for, and hopefully we're successful at doing that. Isabel Wilkerson is our hero of the film, and that's where she lives. She lives in her brain. So that's what we were trying to make a story of that.
Well, I think you guys succeeded beyond measure. The movie does something that not many movies do, and it truly stimulates dialogue. I mean, these are ideas that aren't talked about. They're new ideas.
hmm Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what's exciting. That's why I wanted to be in it. That's why I wanted to be a part of that, a part of it. When I had initially become aware of her when the book Caste came out in 2020, and just how she was, in my mind, just kind of radicalizing our language or introducing a new language to us, and how we talk about social divisions in this country. We are so preoccupied with this idea of race, or this thing of race, right? And she's saying, nah, that's tool. Race is a tool of this larger monster that we're fighting. And yeah, she introduces that, and the film takes that baton up, and we put that on screen. And like you said, folks may not agree with it. They may want to argue about it, but yes, do that, because you're right. It invites that. It invites discussion.
It's so important. Can you speak a little bit about the caste theory again, your feelings about it and how it might have evolved during filming and maybe is still evolving?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't understand it. I had to, it's like wrestling with it to try to understand it. But then when I got it, thanks to Ava, because I had to be believable saying it. So the way that she wrote it helped me understand it. It's like Cliff's notes, right?
Yeah.
In a way. And then it kind of became clearer to me. But what essentially it's saying is that we have these social divisions of the higher caste, someone in the dominant culture, uh, and folks in the lower caste, and the subordinate culture. And that folks, when in the inception of this country, for example, when they came here, they needed to establish power and to maintain power. And the way to do that is they had to make someone inferior to them. And they could have chosen anything. It could have been anything, right? But they chose the color of skin that ultimately codified into race. And the way that she shows how farcical that this is, and the logic of it is weak, is that she shows the example of India, how everybody's the same color, and yet the caste system is in place there. In Nazi Germany, everybody's ostensibly the same color, but the caste system was in place there, and it made space for the Holocaust happening. Yeah.
It's crazy because I feel like they're doing it in Russia right now with, LGBTQ people. I wrote a play about it called Lord, about the persecution of gays in Russia, and I feel like that's exactly what's happening there right now.
Yeah. I mean, what the idea of caste is that it shows itself in myriad ways. It shows itself in sexuality, in gender, in you go into other countries and you see, and we had a panel the other day, and we had a Mexican woman who was on the panel, and she talked about how caste expresses itself and articulates in Mexican culture, right?
Mhm.
Within Mexican culture with indigenous people. And I mean, it's fascinating. And I just love the idea that this arrow is being tossed into us, and it gives us an opportunity to just talk about how we are all of us, no matter where you are. And that's the power of it, right?
Yeah.
Is that we want to make it something that's provincial and small, and it's vast, and we're all affected by it.
Right, and it's about acknowledging it. Can we talk a
Yes.
bit about your craft? Are you immersive when it comes to process, or can you turn on and off when Ava yells cut?
It depends on the scene. It depends on the scene. I'm not one of these actors who can just, do things, on a dime. Like, I'm not that person. I have to feel it. I have to, and if it's not coming natural to me, I have to do the things to make it come to me. Um, and the only thing I would say about that is that, in terms of the process of doing the film, I was for the most part able to bring myself fully, my own emotional, my heartbreak, my grief that I carry with me every day, bring that to work with me. The only thing that I did not want to do is to be indulgent.
Mm,
And so anytime that I felt like, okay, I'm just producing tears because I'm having a physical response to something, just physical, not an emotional one, not a spiritual one, but just a physical response to something, I would say to Ava, I would say, I need to stop here because what I'm doing is not honest.
yeah. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And speaking to grief, I mean, I really related to I lost my mom, and yeah, again, it's what we bring to it. And the Nick Offerman scene in particular was so amazing because someone else would have just given up or gotten angry, but the way Isabel decided to approach it, it was in such an incredible way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that scene comes from the book Caste. That's an example. Some of what you see on screen comes from Ava's research and talking to Isabel Wilkerson about her personal life. But that actually came from the book. That scene came from the book. And what she does is when she talks about it, she said, this dude comes to the house, he has on this hat, and he's being dismissive and doesn't want to deal with her. And so she has to find the way to connect with him. And what we all share, no matter who we are, we all have somebody we love. We all have someone we love, and we are all, particularly our parents. And that was her way. And it really, it was a strategy on her part. Strategy on an intentional strategy on her part, because she knew if she could connect to him in that way, then she wouldn't be a stranger to him. It would humanize her to him.
Wow. Wow. If only we could all approach things that way, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
So let's talk about chemistry because your chemistry with John and with Nisi
Mhm.
off the charts. Does that just come natural?
Well, when you're working with someone like John Bernthal, who is one of the loveliest beings I've ever had the gift of working with in this profession. He's just, or anywhere, he's just a lovely person. He's also an intellect. He is smart as F. And so we were able to talk about Isabel and Brett in this really kind of, deep, deep way, and so he was a joy. When you work with joy, you get joy on screen. And with Niecy Nash Betts, Emmy winner Niecy Nash Betts now. Um, she's just, she doesn't nothing comes out of her mouth unless it's something that she believes. And I think we kind of share, maybe we share that a little bit. So, it just felt like two girlfriends talking and caring about each other. It felt very familiar to me working with her.
Was it helpful to, I mean, you guys went to three different continents really.
Right.
Um yeah, was that helpful with the journey?
It was because Ava wanted to capture Isabel's wonder in India and Germany, and so what you saw was my wonder. My wonder, because I'd never been there before. Um, the scene where I'm crossing the intersection to get to Siraj. Um, Listen, that scared the crap out of me. I was scared to death, you know. So the cameras were capturing my real fear and excitement, and I didn't have to manufacture anything, nothing. It was real and in real time.
Yeah, Ava's discussed your creative collaboration and how rich it was in terms of like dissection and discussion and trust. Can
Yeah.
you elaborate a bit about that?
Yeah, I do think she trusted me, this is these are it's a lot going on with her, right? It's a lot that, the grief she's dealing with, her intellectual journey in the film, um being an intellectual and being someone who's dealing with tremendous grief, and being a researcher, dealing with talking to strangers, trying to get their stories, and going home and being alone and having that thing of grief coming along with you everywhere. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask of an actor. It's a lot to ask because she's operating on all these different sort of places and planes. Um, so Ava trusted me. She gave me the space that I needed to do what I needed to do. And then we talked a lot. We would fight over things, and the fight meaning, I what I wanted to do, I didn't want to say a word unless I believed it, unless I believed me saying it. So some of their things in the book that I butt up against, and so I would say, okay, I know that I have to say this, but I have to at least have some sort of foundation of why I say it, even if I don't believe it. So we would have to hash that out. And I'm so thankful for that because I think both of us came on the other side, at least for me, with a greater understanding of what Miss Wilkerson wrote in the book.
Mm,
Yeah.
so important. I want to speak a bit about the attention that this film is not getting because I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Uh,
I know you were passing out postcards at the Globes, which is, you know, it's amazing, but I really don't understand. We go to the go-tos, right? It could be misogyny, it could be not to say racism, but there could be all these different factors, or it could just be that a handful of movies every year are the only ones that get spoken about, and I don't understand it. Do you have any thoughts on this?
it sucks. It sucks, makes me sad. It just really makes me sad. And I didn't pass them out at the Globes. I was at Century City Mall, like,
Oh,
passing them out, and the Globes were happening at the same time, but I was passing them out, and I didn't do it for any kind of reason other than I want people to go see this movie. I
Yeah.
want people to be aware of it because I kept hearing and still to some degree hear people don't know about it. Nobody knows about the movie. Nobody knows about the movie. I don't have $1 million to put a billboard up on any boulevard or anything like that. But what I do have, I have flyers, I have my legs, and I can stand outside and say, please go see this film. Please go see this film. Please go see this film. That is what I can do. That is what I have in my power to do. And so that's what I did. That's what I did. And I probably will do it again, if I have enough time and space to do that. I have no pride about it. I feel so strongly about what this film is about and what it can do when people respond to it and talk about it, the power that it can have, a call to action that it can be, that if I got to do that, I have to do it. But yeah, that does suck because if there were this larger awards conversation about it, it would make that job easier.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's honestly, at the end of the day, what it's about.
Mhm.
You've been a part of, an awards journey before. You know how it kind of when you're a part of it, it takes over your life, right?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
What was that experience like, by the way, with King Richard and, kind of, being celebrated like that?
Yeah, you're right. It takes it is invasion of the body snatchers. It is that. And I said, a little bit presumptuously because I thought that we would have more of that in this journey. That I said that I would never allow that to happen to me again. I would never allow that. That I had tremendous joy in getting that nomination. I never thought in a million years I would ever happened to me, and it did. But it did. Um, but I thought that the way to do that was to I, I didn't have that's the thing. I didn't think. I was this is where you go, this is what you do, this is what and it was presented to me essentially, this is and I lost myself.
Yeah.
I lost myself. you know I never want to have that experience again. I hope I get another chance at least, just to right that wrong, just to be myself in if that happens again anytime in the future. Yeah, so I can exist as me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and you have who when we look at your credits, you've been working for, I mean, the last 3 decades. It blows my mind, by the way, that I saw you on Broadway when I was in, was it grad school, I think, in The Tempest.
Oh my God. Yes, that was my first job. My
Yeah.
first job ever.
Will you be coming back to the New York stage anytime soon?
No, to see it, to see it, but yeah, theater is not my ministry. It's not my ministry. I love it though. Oh my God, I love it. I love seeing plays. I was there over the summer, last summer, and it was just such a joy to go see musicals, to go see plays. My goodness. I love it.
Well, I hope you change your mind and, you do maybe a limited run of something.
Oh,
Uh Ingenue, I want to say, as a proud queer man, I want to thank you for, I am black, I am queer, this is who I am.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, thank you. It's interesting when I did that piece that they did in Variety last couple years ago, I was just I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything about it, but I'm telling you, people have come up to me and told me, like you, or saying, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I have somebody in my family and they will never open the door. to them open themselves up to the world, and as a result they're suffering. I had people in my life who I know will die never having explored that part of themselves because of shame, because of religion. It's interesting, the morning after that piece came out, and it came out in Variety, I had two people to text me the next morning, and both of those men I know are living lives where they're not, they don't they can't be open with their sexuality.
Mm,
And they both texted me and told me thank you. And these are people who are in the public eye.
right.
And they both texted me individually to tell me thank you. So that said to me, okay, I'm glad I did that. I
It's
may
so
not have thought anything about it, but some other people did.
it's so important because I think a lot of people live in their own bubbles. You know, we live in a bubble here in New York,
Hmm.
and we think, oh, it isn't a problem anymore. And the truth is, it's a problem worldwide.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You're right. You think New York or Los Angeles, it's the world, and it's just not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. I wanted to piggyback back to the Albright scene, um,
Mm.
which absolutely destroyed me. It brought back some things that I remembered from, when I was tiny, that I remembered wanting to speak out, but you're too afraid.
Mhm.
And where that piece is situated in the film, I think is so powerful because it's near the end. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give the power of it away. But I
Mhm.
wanted to get your thoughts on that because one of the great things about the film is how she really messes with narrative expectation. I love it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I agree. Yeah, we did a panel the other day, and I was like, I just want to fangirl out a little bit on what you did. It's a really dope moment. Yeah, that moment, I like you said, we don't want to give anything away, but what the result of that, people seeing it, my one of my family members saw it, a Black man, and he said that moment touched him so much because he felt like someone was saying it to him,
Yeah.
because he understood that loneliness and isolation that happened in that scene is something that he feels. And he says no one says that to him. No one says what she says. We don't want to say what happened, but what she says communicates in that scene, and no one says that to him. So someone saying that to him, he felt that he was being assured.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Ingenue, I could speak with you all day long, but unfortunately, I can't. Um, my final question to you is, what is up next for you?
Oh, what's up? Well, I'm going to knock on some wood. I don't know why I'm knocking on wood, because I
I'll knock
am.
on it for you.
Thank you. I'm going to Sundance over the weekend for a film that I did last summer called Exhibiting Forgiveness. That's directed by Titus Kaphar. In this movie, that's an adaptation of Nickel Boys that was written by Colson Whitehead. That's coming out hopefully sometime this year. New film done by Lee Daniels that'll come out, I think will come out this year.
Nice.
And a Hulu film, The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat Diner, also an adaptation, um, that is supposed to come out at some point, so this
S-
year.
So exciting. I look forward to all of them. I'm seeing the one at Sundance. So,
Good.
yep, yippee. And yeah, again, thank you for your artistry. It's much appreciated.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Right. Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.